morning, students. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Wisdom Wednesday, coming at you. And I'm just doing an audio/video this week. But I wanted to do a topic. I'm sorry, I'm not being so graceful at how I want to talk about this because my brain just exploded with all these things I want to tell you. So let me calm down here. The things that I want to talk to you about today is because there are a lot of people that I'm hearing a lot of stories from students and people that I work with. And I've also experienced this myself, so it hits close to home. A lot of people out there are being judged. You know, when we're in a esoteric practice, most of my students are practicing esoteric practices. And so it's a big, broad category of, alternative healing. And, not only do we have counselors and therapists who come from a more, Western medicine style of, I don't know what the word is that I'm trying to look for, but basically approach. They come from that kind of approach. And so POPA has a lot of people that are like that. But we also have a ton of people that come from more esoteric backgrounds, which means it's really diverse in belief systems. And we're kind of a melting pot of everybody under one roof and everybody humbly and respectfully coming together and honoring each other's belief systems. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world like that. We live in a world where people want to do battle with you. They want to judge other people. And there's a lot of reasons why people do that. Mostly I have found that people that are very judgmental, who say really harsh things, those people are trying to gain some sort of power and authority because they really, in the real scope of things, don't feel any power in life at all. And so they're trying to use the power of God or the Bible to kind of bash you over the head. And normally what happens is with good, decent people are so shocked by this behavior that they kind of get silent. And in essence, they're kind of silenced by these people that are doing this. And so I'm hearing a lot of things because right now we're really at a beautiful time where it's about ascension. It's about claiming your power. It's about no longer recoiling, but to stand up and own who you are and what you believe. And this isn't about, going to battle with other people because that just is pointless. But this is really about, this talk anyway, is about really helping you to understand that you don't have to do that anymore with people who are judging you. And so another thing that I'm drawn to do, and I've already done it, is on the website I created a new link and it's called Chapel of Secrets. And many of you know already that, I've always had this calling to God, but I was always conflicted because I didn't like the way that the world was doing, God in quotes. And so I did a ton of theological study and I really came up with my own, way to feel comfortable and practice. And so I don't go around, talking about God and all this stuff because I really feel like God is what you embody in who you are as a person. So you don't need to go out and constantly saying, praise Jesus or, all these other things. And you don't even have to be religious or have dogma to, shine the light of God in your life, right? So I came to where I'm at on my own through my own journey. But along the way, I had a lot of people judging me. And I'm hearing a lot of that happening right now to a lot of spiritual healers and people who are from different practices. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people are just kind of being silenced and because they don't know how to handle it. So what I've done is I've created a link on my website at Place of Bliss Sanctuary, and I'm literally using Place of Bliss Sanctuary as a sanctuary. It is a place where people of all spiritual diversities and beliefs can come under that umbrella and not only get services and a library and all these other different things, but you can feel like you have a spiritual home, a sanctuary, a literal chapel of secrets where I'm giving you little secrets that you can use to kind of process these experiences that you have. And Of course, the links that I have to the theological studies and other things that I offer, where if you really want to learn, you're going to be able to get more learning there and take a course. If that's what you want, I'll definitely direct you there. But it's more for me that as things come up, that I hear, I'm going to put education there. I'm going to give you a resource where when you're dealing with someone judging you, like right now, I put a section in there on judgment. And you can literally click on that link and you can have references of, biblical things that you can learn that language a little bit, pick out something. And I tell you exactly things to say in response. I give you actual, a link of scripture so you can pick one that you like that works, so that if you get hit with that kind of judgment, that you have something in response that you can say. And it really is about learning the language that other people speak. And this is in general for everybody, right? Like in every healing modality, we're learning kind of the language of that healing modality. And when we make new friends, we're learning the language of that person and what's important to them, not necessarily, a foreign language. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really when we take the time to learn about other people, we take the time to learn the language they speak, how they speak, in essence, what's their love language, right? We know about that, but what are they into? What language do they use to express themselves? And we learn that way. And so this is no different, but this is really giving you more information so that you can understand what to do and what not to do, right? Because again, we are moving out of the recoiling phase. We are in full-blown ascension. Claim your power, own your power, know yourself, be unapologetic for who you are. But there's some other things that go with that. So I want to give you a few notes. Okay, so the first thing is, this is basically called Stop Surrendering Your Authority. Okay? That's what the name of this is right now. Stop surrendering your authority, okay? And what I mean by this is your beliefs are valid. And this is not just regarding, I want you to apply this to everything, right? Because this is not just about religion or what have you. This is really about anything, because we have a lot of people who judge us for a lot of different things. We might have friends or family members that are judging our decisions. They may have nothing to do with religion or spirituality, but they just are judging us in some area of our life. And so whatever it is for you, I want you to apply this information. Okay, first of all, stop surrendering your authority. Secondly, your beliefs are valid. Okay, your beliefs need no validation. That's number 3. Okay, so first is stop surrendering your authority. 2, your beliefs are valid. 3, your beliefs need no validation. And what I mean by that is we don't need to be approval seeking from other people, recognizing them as our authority or some authority over us, because at the end of the day, you got to live your own life. No one else can live in your shoes but you, and you need to make sure that you can be happy with the choices that you make in life and who you are developing yourself into. No one else has the right to kind of shape and mold you into what they think is the right thing for them. You have to decide that for you, right? So your beliefs need no validation. If it's okay with you, then that's the answer. 4, stop recognizing others as your authority. So a lot of times people are, like I said, nice people are stunned into silence and they don't know what to say. So they just kind of recoil. And especially in terms of religion, because people see another person kind of wielding God as a knife, it's like a weapon. And then it makes people feel guilty, like, oh, am I doing something wrong? And they feel like, oh, the authority of God is over me. Well, no, it isn't, because you really need to look at the person that's doing it. Stop giving your authority to people who are cruel and mean-spirited, because the reality is they don't know anything more than you do. Even if they can quote scripture, that does not mean that they know or feel or understand God any more than any other person does. Okay? Because God is a mystery to everybody. So, if we're talking about that, you don't have to surrender your authority to someone else who is mean and nasty, especially if they're being mean, nasty, and judgmental to you. And so not only in a religious term, but also in terms of just people in general who are judging you or who you are as a person. They are not the authority because a good, decent person doesn't do that. So why in the world would we be silenced by someone who's claiming to be an authority in something who clearly isn't? Okay, so that's why I say I go back to the number one, which is stop surrendering your authority to people who they don't deserve it. Okay, the next thing is, really decipher who's an acceptable authority in a given topic and make sure that they're kind and humble, right? So we can recognize other people as authorities in a certain topic, but we get to decide who we render that respect and honor to, right? That's why certain people follow certain people. I'll use myself as an example. There's, over 18,000 people who recognize me as a spiritual teacher. Okay, and I've earned that. In their minds, I've earned that for whatever reason. They have their own reasons, but they chose that I'm their teacher, I'm their person, okay? And that was earned through who I am as a person. And then they decided that, okay, I decide this is going to be my teacher because I trust her. And they have their reasons for trusting me, okay? Each person gets to decide that for themselves. Nobody gets to come into your world and beat you over the head and tell you they're the authority. You decide if you see them as an authority. No one else gets to decide that but you. So remember that when something like this happens, and think to yourself, is this the person that I want to recognize as the authority in whatever topic is going on at the moment? And if it is no, then you can simply say to them, I don't recognize you as the authority in this topic. Sorry, I just don't. You're not the person that, and if I did want an authority in this topic, you would not be the person that I would be going to. And the reason would be because look how you're behaving right now. You're actually expressing yourself in a really cruel and mean-spirited manner. And I don't follow cruel, mean-spirited people. And that's it. There's no anger. You're just matter of fact letting someone know you don't recognize them as your authority. And the reason why is because of the way they behave. And someone that you respect doesn't behave that way. And you can walk on your merry way, right? You don't need to surrender your authority in any topic to anybody, but you really have to have a criteria for how you look at somebody and decide whether or not they're a credible person. So really think about that. If you're struggling with someone in a certain area, think about what is the criteria that you would, in this particular area, whatever that is, how would I determine whether or not I respect somebody enough to listen to what they're saying to me and come up with what it is. And then what you can do is measure it against the person that actually is creating the challenge for you. And I think you're going to find out that you don't have any respect for that person. So why in the world would you render them as your authority? You don't, but your actions need to show that you actually are not recoiling from this person, but that you're owning your own power, okay? And I want you to think of it this way, because this is how I think of it in spiritual terms. No spirit is greater than you, and you are no greater than any spirit, okay? So when people talk about, curses, and they talk about, other people being horrible to them, and people shutting down, and people kind of giving away their power to other people, I always like to just remind you that you are no bigger than any spirit, but no spirit is bigger or greater than you. Okay, does that make sense? No spirit is greater than you, and you are no greater than any spirit. Okay, whether it's earthbound or other. Okay, and therefore you own your power, and you don't have to be afraid of anybody or anything, because nothing is greater than you. Because if you own your power, then you know everything is spirit. Everything is. And we are limitless in spirit. There's nothing that you need to be afraid of. Okay, so I want you to work on owning your power. And then the other thing is, own your power. Understand that your power is your own. Nobody gets a say in whether or not you can feel good about yourself. Only you get to decide that. People can try and judge you all day long, but if you recognize yourself as your own authority of what's good and what's bad, and I think that you have, a good critical thinking background where you can figure it out for yourself, You don't need anybody else to tell you what's right or wrong or good or bad. You decide that, okay? And keep this in a context, okay? There's the law, and of course the law tells us what's right and wrong legally, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about you having the authority over you to make a decision what is good or bad, right or wrong in your own life. And when we stop seeking approval from other people, we can start to claim that personal power, and we stop recoiling less from these shocking people who do these rude things. Okay, be unapologetic for who you are as a spiritual being. Okay. So again, I'm going to say it again. Be unapologetic for who you are as a spiritual being. And what we're saying, don't take this out of context, okay? Because I can hear some people who are anti my message who would say, oh, she's saying don't be apologetic for anything. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you don't need to be apologetic for being you, okay? Now, if you have to apologize for something, bad behavior or something that you did, that's different, okay? But what I'm saying is you don't have to apologize for being who you are, right? And there are some people that will try and make you feel bad for who you are, and religion falls right into that, right? Because there's certain categories that if you're a certain way, they're going to, certain people are going to judge you for how you are or who you are. And that's why I'm saying, be unapologetic for who you are, because however you are, that's how God made you. And God couldn't do something wrong. Okay. So when we're talking about in something religious, that's a good argument for that. And if it's anything else, it's again, someone else telling you based on their own belief systems. Nobody else has the right to override your belief system. Know what you believe and then stick to that. And you don't have to adopt anybody else's belief system. You just need to know what yours is, okay? And when someone tries to step in and judge you for that, you can just step up and say, you own your own belief systems. I don't recognize you as the authority in whatever that is, whatever subject it is. And you move on your merry way, okay? And the last thing that I'm going to say for this week is just love yourself and others, okay? Love yourself and others. Everything that you do is about self-love, because you can't love other people until you first love yourself, and that's just a fact, okay? So I want you to really just focus on all of these things. Focus on loving yourself as a person. Be unapologetic about it and love yourself exactly as you are, because God don't make no mistakes, okay? So I will talk to you guys soon. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment. We hit over 1,000 subscribers. I just need people to really watch these videos every week to get those numbers up. Thank you so much for helping me hit that 1,000 subscription level. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys next week. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.